You and your child are not cute at all. Get out of this house right now. What? The house seemed to say, echoing my disbelief. I paused mid-sentence, feeling a chill. Understood, I replied, starting to pack my belongings. My husband looked flustered, watching me with a mix of confusion and concern. Hey, you don't have to leave just like that. But your dear mother told me to leave. I have to obey, don't I? Matt, don't bother with that woman. Come over here and let's eat cake, my mother-in-law said with a triumphant look. In that moment, I resolved to leave and take my daughter back to my parents' house. My name is Jennifer, a 34-year-old office worker. I married Matthew 2 years ago after meeting through a trendy dating app and dating for a year. Matthew is a little unreliable, but he's kind and attentive. When we were dating, he would research restaurants. I wanted to try and plan our dates meticulously. After we got married, he would wash the dishes when I was tired or surprise me with my favorite dessert. About a year into our marriage, we had a beautiful daughter, and Matthew actively took care of her. I thought I had found the perfect husband, but of course, nobody is perfect. Matthew's most problematic flaw is that he's a mama's boy. At first, I noticed it in his preference for his mother's cooking, but it went much deeper than that. How is it? Delicious. It's pretty good, but my mom's was a bit richer, I think. Your mother? I asked, surprised at the sudden mention of my mother-in-law. As it continued, it became clear that he believed his mother's cooking was the best and wanted me to replicate her flavors. Her dishes were generally on the richer side, so I decided to make our meals richer to suit his taste. Even on our trips, he would say, "What should I buy for my mom as a souvenir?" Though his father was also present, he never said, "What should we buy for our parents?" It was always about his mom. While it's good to care for one's mother and many men are mama's boys, my husband's attachment won't be in the usual. One day, he said, "I think we should live with my mom." Wait, what? Why all of a sudden? It seems like my mom and dad are getting divorced. What, really? Apparently, it's because of my dad's infidelity. Oh no. I was shocked. My father-in-law seemed so kind, but appearances can be deceiving. It's sad to leave my mom alone, and if we live together, she can help take care of our daughter. That might be true. I was on parental leave, and my mother-in-law's help could allow me to return to work sooner. However, I had concerns because she wasn't particularly fond of me. Can we get along well if we live together? I expressed my honest worries to my husband. Don't worry, it'll be fine. My mom was praising you, Jennifer. His reassurance made me feel a bit better, and I hoped we could coexist peacefully. However, I quickly realized my optimism was misplaced. When my mother-in-law moved into our apartment, her attitude toward me changed drastically. "I can't believe you get to live in such a nice apartment. It's so annoying." "What? Don't you ever forget that you have this life thanks to my son?" she snapped. I couldn't understand why she was yelling at me. "Well, Matthew works hard and helps out with chores, so I am grateful," I replied quietly, recognizing there was some truth to her words. "Yes, I'll keep that in mind." "At least you're obedient, that's good." From that moment, she would find reasons to yell at me over the smallest things. "You're supposed to put sauce on fried eggs. Why is there soy sauce? The bath temperature is so lukewarm. Set it hotter. Why isn't there any ice cream? After a bath, you need to have ice cream. No, do it all yourself." The reasons for her anger were trivial, but they kept coming. Despite being home all day, my mother-in-law did little housework. I had hoped she would help more with our 1-year-old daughter, but she only did so when she felt like it and quickly lost interest. Living together, I realized my mother-in-law's overprotectiveness toward Matthew is even worse than his attachment to her. "Matthew, how was work today?" she would ask. It was really tough. My boss was on edge because we were so busy, so I had to be careful. Oh my, that's unforgivable. Should I protest against the company for allowing power harassment? Really? Oh, for that. It's okay, Mom. We have to have a big heart and forgive. Oh, what a kind child you are. Just like an angel, she cooed. Ha ha, thanks, Mom, but if it gets too much, I'll count on your help. Of course. No, it's too pitiful to have the boss protested against for power harassment just because of Matthew's mood. I immediately regretted living with my mother-in-law. I felt like I would go crazy if I stayed with her all the time, so I decided to put my daughter in daycare and return to work. Why do you have to work too? She snapped. But when I replied, but you can spend your day alone at home, right? She seemed to see some merit in it. Don't neglect your housework, she said, but didn't get any angrier. Good grief, she's such a troublesome person. I never know what will set her off. After that, my stress was somewhat reduced as I started working and spent less time with my mother-in-law, but a problem arose about a year after we started living together. That day happened to be my daughter's second birthday. We prepared a cake, gifts, and held a birthday party for her as a family, but my daughter had entered the terrible twos, and it was at its peak during the birthday party. Come on, here's a present. Open it up, my mother-in-law said, handing the gift to my daughter. No, my daughter said, adding the present away. My mother-in-law was surprised, but she held back this time, thinking that if the present didn't work, maybe the cake would. She scooped up a bit with a fork and tried to feed my daughter. Here it is, your favorite shortcake. But once again, my daughter said, no, and swatted the cake away with her hand. The cream flew and landed on my mother-in-law's forehead. Instantly, she lost her temper. Enough already, you're getting carried away because I'm being nice to you. My daughter started crying, frightened by the sudden outburst. What are you doing? She's scared. I quickly hugged my daughter, shielding her. Shut up, what an unlovable grandchild. Well then, you're an immature grandmother. What did you say? Normally a grown-up wouldn't say such things to a 2-year-old. Shut up, you're such a cheeky daughter-in-law, can't you fix that attitude of yours? As we argued, my husband joined in. Cut the insults. In this situation, you should be protecting your daughter. We can have more kids, but I only have one mom in this world. You're the worst. What a trashy thing to say, as if it's a wise quote. Hey, don't talk bad about Matthew. Neither you nor my grandchild are cute. Get out of this house. Huh, this house is. I stopped myself from finishing that sentence. Understood, I said and started packing my things. My husband watched, flustered. Hey, you don't have to leave. But your precious mother told me to leave. I must obey, right? Matthew, don't bother with that woman. Come here and just eat cake with me. My mother-in-law had a smug look on her face. I vowed to break her nose, took my daughter, and went back to my parents' house. I ignored the several calls from my husband. I made preparations and sent him the divorce papers. He filled them out and sent them back, so I submitted them to the city office right away. Then I called my ex-husband. I submitted the divorce papers, so thank you for filling them out. Yeah, so it's okay for me and my mom to keep living in this house, right? You guys left on your own. Sure, as long as you pay the rent. Of course, this is the apartment you rented, so when you left last time, I was worried, but if I think about it calmly, all I need to do is change the lease to my name, right? Thanks for providing a comfortable place for me and my mom. I'm glad it worked out. By the way, how much is the rent? Well, let's make it about 150,000 yen, shall we? What are you talking about? Tell me the actual rent. Don't mess around. I'm not joking. That's because I'm the owner of the place. What? We talked about it when we got married. Remember, I made quite a bit of money in stocks a long time ago and bought that apartment. You must have assumed it was a rental on your own. Matthew fell silent, seemingly at a loss for words. If you can afford the 150,000 yen rent, I'll just sell the place. It will sell quickly. Wait. If you do that, where will my mom and I live? I don't care. You better leave quickly, or I'll report you to the management company. With that, she hung up the phone, blocked her ex-husband's number, and later sought child support payments through a lawyer. According to the lawyer, her ex-husband looked gaunt and worn out, struggling both mentally and financially to support his mother while paying child support. His mother accompanied him to the negotiations, where they spent the entire time blaming each other. It's your fault. The close relationship between mother and son, which had seemed so distasteful before, crumbled instantly once they lost their wealth and comfortable lifestyle. Perhaps their bond was superficial after all. For Jennifer, it was no longer her problem. She sold the apartment for a surprisingly high price, saved the money for her daughter's upbringing, and now works hard while living with her parents. Although she hopes to find love again someday, her top priority is earning as much money as possible for her beloved daughter. She also resolves to learn from her former mother-in-law's example and avoid being overly intrusive in her daughter's life. Thank you for watching until the end. If you liked it, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.